Here's how much I made selling low content books on KDP in quarter one of this year. And this is my second full year of low content publishing, so my second quarter one of all time. This quarter, I created 6 books, bringing my total up to 355, I believe. I created 4 coloring books and 2 workbooks of sorts, which isn't a ton of books for 3 months worth of time, but lately I've been spending more time trying to create books that are higher quality. And I do all the book creation myself as of right now. I don't hire anything out to anyone else. So that's why it takes some time to create only 6 books, because it takes time to make a quality book. But yeah, I published 4 coloring books and 2 workbooks, and I'm really happy with how they all turned out during this time. But let's get into how much I actually made. So we'll start with January. In January, my approximated royalties were $1,357.57, which is a pretty great month. It is my second, at the time, it was my second highest to date, only second to December of last year, which it makes sense that December would be higher because Christmas time and December is always high, right? So pretty good royalties there. Here are my lowest days and my highest days. So I did pass the $100 in a day mark during one day in January, which is always exciting. But you can see here by looking at the graph of my royalties that the month started off pretty strong, but kind of went down as the month went on. The royalties went down. So I was a little bit confused about why that might be happening. I think maybe the beginning part of January was still affected by like Christmas sales and the end of quarter 4 orders. So maybe that's why it was so high then, and then just kind of trickled back down to be normal. But either way, I was happy with that month's royalties. And then February, I made $1,091.24 with all of my books. Here are my lowest days and highest days. My lowest day, I think I only sold 1 book at $2.64. And then my highest day didn't quite get to $100. It was $71.55. So overall, it was a lower royalty month. But you can see the opposite effect kind of happened as to what happened in January. The month started off a little bit slower, and then towards the end of the month, the sales picked up. So it's kind of an interesting pattern. And then going into March, my March royalties were $1,370.86. And here are my highest and lowest days. March seemed a little bit more constant throughout. I didn't have like a ton of really high or really low days or patterns that I could really see. But overall, it was a good month, just a little bit higher than January. So let's look at the total for the 3 months for all of quarter 1. This is my total. I made $3,819.36 in all of quarter 4. So I think that is pretty good. Let me go ahead and show you the ad spent though, because I did spend some money on ads. I spent about $400, a little bit more. And my ads did pretty well for this first quarter. I had an average ACoS of 21%, which is quite profitable for my pricing. But anyway, that puts my total profit for quarter 1 at $3,413.46. Here are my top 10 books, or like what I made for my top 10 books. You can see that almost my entire royalties came from these top books, $3,247.78 just from these 10 books out of like 3,800 total. So it's true what they say that most of your royalties come from just a small percentage of your books. In my case, these 10 books, the top 2 sellers I know were coloring books. So those are my most profitable niches right now. And so I am pretty happy with my royalties for quarter 1. If I compare them to what some other people might be making, like thousands and thousands more, then they don't look so amazing. But if I compare them to what I made last year for quarter one, which let me show you. Last year for all of quarter one in 2022, I made $165 for those 3 months combined. So comparing the $3,000 plus to the $165, I definitely did a lot better this year. So if you are working on KDP and are struggling to make sales, don't give up and don't compare yourself too much to someone else's journey, because it just takes time sometimes for your books to pick up and for you to really hone in and develop those skills of creating quality books. So just don't give up. You never know how much more you could be making this time next year. Good luck to each of you on your KDP journey, and let me know if you have any questions.